ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskar, my dear friends. This is video number 3 on Updesa Saram, a most preferred and recommended book by Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi for his devotees and other sadhakas doing self-enquiry for self-realization and liberation. This video number 3 starts with stanza number 11. Vayu rodhnliyate manah jal jal paksi vadrodh sadhanam. The mind may be subdued by regulating the breath, just as a bird is restrained when caught in a net. This practice controls the mind. Breath restraint Vayu Rodhana is effected in rather violent ways by Hatha yogis, resulting in complete stoppage or kumbhaka. The Maharshi did not recommend such extremes and used the word kumbhaka in the sense of regulation to be accomplished by watching the intake and outflow of breath. This causes the rate of respiration to slow down and in turn tends to quiet the mind, which is then able to keep its attention on the I or self. In any case, the Maharshi did not give breath control a high priority. He said, one need not attempt breath control, mind control is enough. Breath control is recommended for the man who cannot control his mind straight away. It may do as an aid but can never lead to the goal itself. A more advanced man will naturally go direct to control of mind without wasting his time in practicing control of breath. Stanza number 12. Chitta Vayavaz Chit Kriya Yutaha Sakhiyor Divyayi Shakti Mulaka. Mind and breath manifesting in thought and action branch out from a common source, the Shakti. Since breathing and thinking are rooted in the same life force, the control of one amounts to control of the other. One might oversimplify by saying each time an individual breathes, the mind cerebrates. No breath, no thought. No thought, no breath. In the story of the goblin, Vitala Vasishta tells Rama, both are one only, like the flower and its fragrance, or sesame seed and the oil in it. Prana, breath and mind stand to one another in the relationship of the sporter and sported. If either of them is slain, then the other will also cease to exist. The destruction of both will confer moksha on all. The greatness of Updesa lies not so much in the content of each verse as in the way that the poem ties together all the major margas or paths of spiritual discipline. In this verse, for instance, there is nothing new. In the earliest of all his writings, Who am I? Maharshi says the source of the mind on the one hand and of breath and vital forces on the other is one and the same. Stanza number 13. Laya विनाशने उभये रोधने लयागतं पुनर्भवति no myrtam. Absorption or laya and destruction or nasa are the two kinds of mind control. When merely absorbed, it emerges again, but not when it is destroyed. When the jiva is able to bring about the temporary absorption of the mind by pranayama, he experiences in that state a form of samadhi or experience of reality in which the ego ceases to intrude and intense happiness is enjoyed. But as soon as breath control ceases and I am the body sense resumes and the jiva returns to his normal active state of bondage with its pains and pleasures. Sri Maharshi describes it this way: the involution of the mind in the self, but without its destruction, is Kevala Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Even though one practices it for years together, if one has not rooted out the vasanas, he will not attain salvation. Again, referring to this verse, breath control can only produce manolaya, temporary suspension of mind. One pointed meditation alone can lead to destruction of the mind. Stanza number 14. प्राण बंधनाली मानसम एक चिंतनास mit yad. When the mind has been suspended by breath restraint, it may then be annihilated by single-minded attention to the self. Once the mind has been calmed by the regulation of the breath, one should hold one's attention on the self, seeking the identity of the I. If this practice persists, eventually all other mental activity will dry up and the stream of thoughts will disappear. Then, in the absence of the sense of separateness from the Lord and from the world, a sense which thought has sustained, one arrives at the knowledge that there is only one consciousness and the individual is only that. Stanza number 15. Nashta mansotkarta yoginath kartyam asti kim swastim yataha. What action remains to be done by that great yogi whose mind has been extinguished and who rests in his own true and transcendent state of being? Here, the question refers to the state of the Jivan Mukta or realized man. When asked about this, the Maharshi explained that the Jnani is fully aware that his true state of being remains fixed and stationary and all actions go on around him. There may be no difference between a jnani and an agyani in their conduct. The difference lies in their angles of vision. The ignorant man identifies himself with the ego and mistakes its activities for those of the self, whereas the ego of the jnani has been lost. The liberated state is described by Sankara in his Atma Bodha. I am attributeless, functionless, eternal, doubtless, stainless, changeless, formless, free, and unconditioned. Stanza number 16. Drasavaritam Chittamatman Chit Chit Darshanam Tato Darshanam. If one's attention is turned away from external objects of sense and focused on the light of the self, that is the true vision of reality. To realize the self, it is necessary to give one's attention solely to the I, the first person. This is possible only if one turns his attention away from otherness, from other things and other persons that make up the objective world and away from images and ideas that relates to the world. This process is what is the Maharshi has termed Atma Vichara or self-inquiry. If one leaves aside Vichara, the most efficacious sadhana, there are no other adequate means whatsoever to make the mind subside. If made to subside by other means, it will remain as if subsided but will rise again. On external and internal, the Maharshi has said, because your outlook is externally directed, you speak of a without. In that state, you are advised to look within. In fact, the self is neither within nor without. Stanza number 17. मानसं पू किं मार्गणे कृते नैव मानसं मार्ग आर्जवात्. Again, if one persists in making what is this mind of mine, it will be found that there is really no such thing as mind. This is the direct path. What the individual all along has thought was his mind turns out to be nothing other than his self. The mind has no existence of its own and ceases to function once its nature is revealed. To keep one's attention on the self is the direct way to know the mind. This is the Jnana Marga or Vichara. Sankara also insisted on the necessity for this path. Compared with all other means, jnana, knowledge, is the only direct means to liberation, as cooking is impossible without fire, so is liberation impossible without knowledge. While knowledge is thus eventually essential to realization, it is not always advisable for everyone regardless of the stage of understanding or spiritual development. When asked, can the path of inquiry be followed by all aspirants? The Maharshi replied, this is suitable only for the ripe souls. The rest should follow different methods according to the state of their minds. Stanza number 18. व्यर्तसत्वहं व्यर्तिमाश्रिता व्यर्तयो मनो विद्विहं मनः. What one has thought of as his mind is merely a bundle of thoughts. All these thoughts depend upon the one thought of I, the ego. Therefore, the so-called mind is the I thought. The power of the I thought is limitless. In Yoga Vasishtha, Shiva informs Vasishtha that this idea of I brings in its train the ideas of time, space, and other potencies. The mind is the I am the body illusion. The Maharshi says specifically, the mind is only identity of the self with the body. Clearly, the core of the Maharshi's teaching involves an understanding of the nature of the mind and its relation to human bondage and freedom. In preceding verses, the control or annihilation of the mind has been discussed. Now we are advised that the mind is simply a bundle of thoughts wrapped about a feeling of I wrongly associated with the body. Stanza number 19. अहमयं कुतो भवति चिन्वतः अयि पततये एम निज विचारणम. If one asks himself, where does this I come from? It will vanish. This is self-enquiry or Atam Vichara. Since the feeling I am the body is illusory, it cannot continue the masquerade under sustained scrutiny. The Maharshi has taught the thought I am this body of flesh and blood is the one thread on which are strung the various other thoughts. Therefore, if we turn inwards, inquiring where is this I, all thoughts, including the I thought, will come to an end, and self-knowledge will then spontaneously shine forth within the cave, the heart as I. Stanza number 20. अहमी नास भाजे हम महंतया सफूर्ति हृत स्वयं परम पूर्णस्तः. When this I vanished and merged in its source, there appears spontaneously and continuously an I. This is the heart, the infinite supreme being. Devotees sometimes had difficulty understanding Sri Maharshi's use of the term I, though in this and other statements he makes his meaning clear. In the ultimate sense, I is God's name or the name of our own real selves. In reference to the limited, ignorant individual, I refers to the ego or the I am the body illusion. This illusory I is discontinuous, broken in waking and dream, absent in deep sleep. The Maharshi refers to the true I as I to indicate its continuous nature. Actually, there is no way that this infinite I can be grasped intellectually by anyone. The true I appears or is experienced only when the mind is dead, either temporarily in deep sleep or permanently in case of the jnani. Again, in the ultimate sense, there is neither I, the ego, nor any other thing. Only Brahma exists always, full of bliss everywhere. So I end this video here. Next video number 4 will start with stanza number 21, and this will cover the whole book of Updesa Saram. Thank you, my dear friends, for watching this video. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Namaskar, my dear friends. Namaskar.